Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Jenny here, the Uncrafty Crafter. So thanks for joining in with me tonight, or today actually. When you're seeing this, it's Thursday, but when I'm actually recording it, it is Wednesday night. So this is a wipnchat. So WIP stands for work in progress if you're new. If you're not new, then you already got your diamond painting in front of you and your coffee, because you know that we're going to be here for a little bit, or your tea or your wine, because I don't judge. So I'm actually having a little bit of a can you see that? It's a watermelon Rita. These are the bomb. They're my favorite flavor, but you can only get them in like summertime apparently. Whatever, I mean, but anyway, they're my favorite. So and that's just my first one, and I've only had a couple sips, so no, I'm good to go. Anyway, grab what you're working on. Grab some crocheting, some knitting, some diamond painting. I'm working on the Little Tin Soldier by the Diamond Art Club. This is a Mandy Manzano piece. And I'm doing this one. I don't know if you can tell here at the very tip top. There is some mistletoe up here. And some snowflakes here and there. But this is a, this is the canvas I'm working on for the Christmas in July event that Maritza from Kiss My Crafts and Mindy from Mindy's Diamond Moment are collaborating on together. So, and hosting. So, the hashtag for that is hashtag fa la la into July. And the way that Maritza says it is 1 fa, 2 laws, and an into July. So, I just think that's hilarious. So every time I hear her say fa la la into July, I'm always like 1 fa, 2 laws, and an into July. So anyway, if you are doing the Christmas in July event, then make sure that you're visiting their channels because they're doing giveaways and checking out people's work on Instagram. So fun. I'm excited about Christmas in July. It's a fun thing, I think. Anyway, I love Christmas, and it's hotter than blue blazes outside. So yeah, I'll take Christmas any day of the week, any month of the year. Doesn't have to be December. In case I haven't already said it, I hope you guys are having an awesome day. So let's see, let's kind of maybe recap this past week. Working on this orange arrow symbol here. I already did my outlining of the 310. As you can see, everything's outlined. So I tend to, with Mandy Manzano, outline, like, because I work in sections, you know, and I'll outline the section in the 310s and then go back in and fill it all in so that it's all, you know, just, I've heard somebody describe it, I think it was Abigail, describe it as painting in the colors. What is her YouTube? I think it's Abigail Marie 007. Yeah, but let me see. Recap the week. So, since my last wipnchat, I attended a wedding this weekend on Saturday. The most beautiful wedding I've ever been to in my life. Not even kidding. I mean, I've been to several weddings. My wedding was pretty, but daggone, this was the prettiest wedding I've ever seen. Wait. Pause it before I go any further. If youngins, I'm telling you what, the weather outside is frightful. So it's not delightful. The wind is crazy right now. I didn't know we were supposed to be getting storms, but I went outside a while ago because I heard the wind blow, and I'm like, good grief, is that just like my imagination, or is it really that bad outside? So I stick my head out the door, and sure enough, right when I'm standing out there looking around, I hear a tree out in the wood line go. I'm like, oh, I'm gonna get my tail feathers back in the house, because last thing I need is a tree falling over on top of my head. So yeah. If my husband wasn't already in the bed, I would have had him out there with a flashlight looking to see where the tree is, because it sounded really close. So I don't know if it's in the yard, because we have like a wood line, and then we have like a pond. So yeah, I'm not sure where. I mean, I could tell the direction that it came in, but you know, sometimes the way wind carries noise, it may be a little bit further out than I think it is. I don't know. But I sure wouldn't want to go out there, look and see, and then have another tree fall on top of me. Nope, nope, nope. So, just a little disclaimer there. If the lights happen to flicker and go out, then you'll know why. You think the resurrection, or not resurrection, the Lord done come back and took everybody, right? The lights go out. Oh, Lord have mercy. She's gone. All right. So, now, back to the wedding. So, Saturday, wedding didn't start till 5:30-ish. So, if you've been around here for very long, you've heard me talk several times about my cousin's son getting married, and I went to the palette painting party a while back, and that was kind of like the bride-to-be's, like, bachelorette type party. So that was who got married, was my cousin and his fiance. And his mom is the cousin that I talk about that I like spend a lot of time with, my like BFF and things. So anyway, she's been working like crazy to get all the stuff squared away for this wedding. And you know how expensive weddings can be, but they picked the prettiest venue. It's like, it was one of those barn setting weddings, like on a farm where there's like this big, beautiful dairy barn and lots of decorations, and oh my God, it was beautiful. It's like serious, prettiest wedding ever. And when I pulled up, I had never been there before, but when I pulled up, you know, I parked, and there were a lot more people there than I expected to be, because it was so flaming hot that I was really kind of thinking, people might not, you know, be as apt to get out in this with this as hot as it is. Plus the whole COVID thing still, people, you know, not really wanting to get out and gallivant around other people. So, I don't know where that came from. So anyway, I get there, park, and yeah, there's plenty of people, and I can see in the distance, because you had to walk just a little bit, not very far, to get to like where the like guest register book is, you know, to sign. And whenever I was standing in line, I was like, oh, because I could see everything, like right there, all the seats for the groom side and the bride side, you know, and the like altar part, you know, or whatever you want to call it, where they are actually going to get married. And it was just beautiful, beautiful, like belonged in a magazine, like bridal magazine, beautiful. The cool thing is that my uncle, who is my cousin's dad, officiated the wedding. He's a pastor of a church, and he actually performed his grandson's wedding, which is the coolest thing ever, you know. And so, but anyway, when the music started, I was already, boo-hoo, you know, in tears like a maniac. After the wedding was over, the reception was upstairs where they got married at was out in the open. It wasn't like in the barn or anything. They did have preparations in order just in case like it started getting rained out or something, that they would have it, you know, inside the barn or under the tent or whatever. And anyway, they had the reception inside the dairy barn, but it was up in the top part which is the loft. And the roof was like, you know how dairy barns, the roof kind of goes up in an angle and then kind of at a tip. I mean, the inside of there, it was huge. The loft of that place was huge, but it had big, ginormous chandeliers hanging from it. The food was amazing. They had it catered. It was like roasted chicken and pulled barbecue, green beans, I don't even know, salad, just different things. And there was music and dancing, and I still hear wind out there, and it's making me nervous. The lights have flickered, not since I've been filming, but before I started filming, I was like, them lights are flickering a little bit too much for my liking. Now I'm going to do this other orange color. So I'm in her hair section now and starting in on the like part of her arm here. So there's a lot of oranges and like skin tones happening right now. But so you know how whenever the photographer's there and they do like the bridegroom first look, you know, where they're standing so many feet apart and they count to 5 or 3 or 10 or whatever and have the bride and groom both turn around. Or no, the bride is looking at the groom, but the groom has his back turned to her, and then they count to whatever and he turns around and sees his bride for the first time, you know. So they were doing that concept. And so the best man actually dressed up in a wedding gown. It was my cousin's wedding dress from years and years and years ago. And had a bouquet of flowers. And yeah, he stood in as the bride. So yeah, anyway, whenever the groom turned around, there stood the best man in the wedding dress. And he was right up close next to him. Like as soon as he turned around, he wasn't like, I mean, they were face to face. And the groom was not expecting that, you know. And the best man like sticks his hands up to the groom's face and is like, "Kiss me, big boy," you know. It was just hilarious. Because if you know which you don't, I know, but the groom or the best man is like, I wouldn't say burly, big and burly, but he's, you know, masculine, and he has a hairy face, and, you know, but anyway, it was just so funny. So funny. I absolutely loved it. You're not going to find very many grooms, or not grooms, but best men or men in general that are going to be willing to do that. But yeah, it was pretty awesome. Pretty awesome. We were sitting during the reception. we were sitting there, and I was like sitting with some people that I knew, you know, and one of the guys sitting there was talking about bad weather coming, and I was like, really? I mean, the cloud, there was clouds in the sky, but they were like the big, pretty, fluffy, white clouds against the bright blue sky. It was picturesque. Like, their wedding pictures are going to be beautiful. And the sun was shining, you know, and he's like, yeah, I heard we're supposed to get a storm. He said, so I'm going to head out of here soon. And I was like, well, okay, whatever. Well, he left, and he left before it was even time for the dinner part, you know, to eat the dinner. And we were just sitting there jib-jabbering around, me and the other people there at the table. And it was our turn to go get our plates. So we went and got our plates and got back and started eating. Well, we weren't even finished with our food. And all of a sudden, the sky turned black. And boom, the lights went out. Out. Completely out. All of a sudden, my cousin, the mother of the groom, you know, disappears, and her husband disappear, and then a little while later, they pop back in, and they're like, okay, everybody, we need to head downstairs. Wind's picking up, and the electricity is still not on, which obviously we were still sitting there in the dark, kind of. But I think they were just trying to get people to a lower level, because we were in the upper loft part of the barn. And I think they were kind of thinking, you know, if there's like a tornado gonna blow through here or something, we need to be on the lower level, not the top level. So they got everybody downstairs, and everybody was kind of like, by the time we got outside and was getting down the stairs and around the building to the other doors to get into where they were at, keep in mind, this is an old barn, and these doors are like the doors that open like a barn does, and they're wooden, heavy doors. The wind was blowing so hard that my hair, which my hair is below my shoulders, was literally flopped over my face. I couldn't see where I was going. I could hear that train sound. You know what I mean? That whistling train sound that you think of with like tornado. And so I'm freaking out. I'm like, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. And they couldn't, the wind was so strong that they couldn't get those barn doors open. And finally they got the other door open. So we flew around there and got in the thing and into the bottom part of the barn. And there was like, everybody was standing around on their phones, looking to see what was going on. The people that owned the farm, they didn't have a generator. Like, what? You own a farm, you have this wedding venue that people pay a gajillion dollars for, and you don't have a generator? How, like, really? So, yeah, there was no generator. The lights were out for, there was no tornado, though, let me just say that. The wind was just crazy whipping around those buildings, and I think that's the sound that I heard, was just that wind. It was so strong. People were just standing around, you know, not really knowing what to do. And my cousin, the groom's mom, you know, came up to me, and she's like, I don't know what to do. She said, what do? You invite 300 people to a wedding, and then you got to pile them all downstairs and hope that nobody dies today. You know? I didn't invite somebody to come to some place where they're going to be killed. So, yeah, anyway, it was, I told her, I'm like, you know what? Hey, they're never going to forget this. People that attended will never forget this wedding. I said, just look at it like that. It was like, And the lightning, after it was over and everybody went back upstairs to the loft again, the lightning still just kept on, like, and you could, like, it was crazy. Like, have you ever, like, seen lightning and, like, the hair on your arm stands up or the hair on the back of your neck stands up? It's like that ozone feeling weird, you know? It was doing that over and over and over. And a lot of people had already left by that point. So, you know, there wasn't a ton of people left. But, so, and they hadn't even got to the cake yet. You know, I mean, everybody had eaten. Well, I mean, some people didn't get to finish eating. But they hadn't, like, cut into the cake, had their pictures taken with the cake or anything like that yet. So, and so I had a piece of that. And then after I had the cake, I kissed the, yes, I did. I know, COVID season and I'm kissing the bride and groom, but you know. So I gave them a kiss and a hug and congratulated them and all that, and was headed out. It was raining when I was leaving, and the ground was like mushy from where it had rained so hard already. I tromped through the rain and I was soaking wet. I couldn't see where I was going because my glasses were soaking wet, and my feet had, like, the rain had soaked through my shoes onto my feet, and I was just like, ugh, blech, blech, blech. And I want you to know, it's crazy, because here I am walking out to my car, and literally I had like just left the barn and was headed to my car, and all of a sudden I hear a bunch of whooping and hollering and woo, and I was like, what in the world? I turned around and looked, and the lights was on. The electricity came back on. I was like, are you kidding me right now? So I'm like, well, I'm just going to go on home anyways. It was already getting dark. Like, it was on the verge of getting dark. And I'm a weirdo. I can't see good to drive at night. So I have to, like, pay super close attention and drive like I'm 105 years old. And so, yeah, I get off the main road or get off of the one highway that's like curvy and hilly, and it's so foggy out, and because it was so hot and then that cold rain and there was just fog everywhere, I couldn't see 2 inches in front of my face. And I get to the main light, the main stoplight there in that town, and turned. And finally, then I knew, you know, where I was at. I was more comfortable because I knew that part of the road. But when I did, there was like 15 cars behind me because I was going so slow. I'm like, I'm sorry. I don't care. You can ride my butt, do whatever you want to do. I don't give a rat. So, but yeah, there was a bunch of cars. I know they were thinking, good Lord, good grief, Gertie, get out of my way. Sorry. Not sorry. Oh, well. All the lights, like all of the like gas stations and stores, none of them were lit up. Like the electricity was off all through the town. None of the stoplights were working. So people were kind of like four-way stopping at all the stoplights, you know, and it was a mess. But yeah, I got home, and the husband, as soon as I walked through the door, the husband's like, did you eat? I'm like, yeah, I ate. It was a wedding. What do you think? He's like, well, I didn't know. I was waiting to see if you wanted supper. I don't know what to eat. And I'm like, oh, you're going to have to figure something out. You can have a bologna sandwich or frozen burrito or whatever you want. But I've done already eat. I mean, who goes to a wedding and not eat? Really? He knew I'd ate. I don't know. Sometimes I'm like, what? With him. Cracks me up. I mean, I told him that they were having dinner, you know. So funny. he was probably expecting me to bring him a big plate of food home is why he was waiting and hadn't ate anything yet. And I feel bad. I mean, I would have brought him something home, but, I mean, it was like a daggone apocalypse out there. No electricity and people scurrying all over the place, not knowing if they was getting ready to die or not. Ugh. But anyway, that was a wedding to remember. I will say, even though it was crazy there at the end, it was such an awesome, beautiful, the service, the actual wedding itself was absolutely beautiful. So, can't wait to see their pictures because, like I said, that sky was just like picturesque, you know. Pretty. And her wedding dress was super pretty. It wasn't like what you would like call, I don't want to say it wasn't fancy because it was kind of lacy, like the outer part of it was lacy, and it was kind of off the shoulder, and she had a really long veil. Train wasn't super long, but yeah, the wedding dress was pretty. It kind of looked old-fashioned to me in a way, which kind of makes sense because it was like a barn wedding, so. But the flowers were pretty. All of just every little detail was perfect. Perfect. The music was amazing. Oh, well. Oh, well. All right. So now I'm going to move to a more negative topic, I guess you could say. I'm never negative on my channel. I don't feel like ever. I don't want to be. But this has been a week from Hades for me. Emotionally, anyway. So I'm not going to go into major details. I'm just going to say that I feel like with all the chaos that's been going on in 2020, I feel like people, I don't know if it's because they're cooped up, they're scared, depressed maybe. I don't know what the reason is, but when you have an opinion on a certain subject and your neighbor has an opinion on the same subject, but it's a different opinion or the opposite opinion, and you can make this whatever you want it to be, whether it's politics, whether it's wear a mask, don't wear a mask, whether it's whatever. Okay, sorry about that little brief interruption. And the angle may have changed. I had to take my phone out of its little army thingy up here, arm thing up there, because I was afraid that I had my alarm set on my phone and I didn't want it to start going ding, ding, ding. So anyway, I had to check that. But anyway, back to what I was saying. If you have a neighbor, say you believe one way and your neighbor believes it completely. Now, this is not saying my neighbor. I'm just talking in general. And your neighbor believes the opposite way that you do. And your neighbor isn't like, she just has her opinion. You know, she doesn't like voice it to you. You just kind of know how she feels on the subject. But anyway, if you don't agree with your neighbor, are you just going to continue to agree to disagree with her and still be friendly, decent human being? Or are you going to say, because you don't believe the way that I do, I'm going to get all the other neighbors in this neighborhood to come over and egg your house and toilet paper your house and call you ugly names and berate you and bully you, and that's what I'm saying. So this did not happen in my neighborhood. FYI, that was just a general example. And this is not a political anything. This is just a human being, a human decency chit chat that I'm wanting to have, or that I'm discussing, but I have seen some extreme hate behavior on my social media feeds, with ugliness spewed at people that are friends of mine. And the sad thing is that this hate and the hate that they're spewing, or the hate that is being spewed, is coming from another friend of mine. And so, in a voice of me trying to be a voice of reason, and reason with this person by saying, you know, hey, I may not agree with what she thinks either, but is it okay for you to bully and harass her and bring all of your friends to bully and harass her too? So, and in me doing that, and me trying to be peacekeeper-ish, I guess you would say, then I became the target. And I was called ugly names for standing up for my friend. And like I said, I'm not going to discuss what the topic was about or anything like that. But it was a very heated, one-sided, heated discussion from them towards her. And this wasn't the first time that I had seen her and her group of people come at someone. This was the second time in the course of 3 weeks. And the first person that I feel like kind of targeted, they were calling her vile names. And one person I had seen in the comments had even like basically wished, you know, that her and her family would just disappear off the face of the earth, in pretty nice words. So they were getting threats, actual harmful threats. And I'm just like, I can't even, that's not okay with me. It's just not okay with me. And I'm usually one to keep my mouth shut about things, especially on social media, just because I don't like the drama. I don't like discontent. I don't like strife. But it was just too much. And so I thought that I could talk to the girl and her group of people and be like, hey, you know, I understand you want to fight for the things that you believe in, but do you feel like the name calling and the threatening and the, like, verbally, it was almost like what I would consider verbal violence, if, you know, if that's even a thing. But it was just ugly, 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 ugly. And it hurt my heart, because in my mind, I'm like, you know, I don't care which way you swing. Swing whichever way you want to swing. And I don't mean sexually. I mean that, or just whatever. You know, if you believe in something, believe in it. Do what you want to do. I'll do what I want to do. But I'm open to different beliefs. I'm open to understanding that people are not like, everybody's not the same. You know, I'm not like some people, and some people ain't like me. That's what makes this world diverse and interesting. And, you know, if we were all the same, it'd be a pretty boring place, and, you know, whatever. But I just don't believe that the way they were acting was anything that a decent human being would do. And, you know, I'm just sorry I didn't mean to hit and make the camera shake. But anyway, it really, you know, there were some ugly things said to me just for, and I wasn't even taking up for either one of the girls. I was just trying to say, is there not another way that you can go about this? It was kind of like if I would have seen that group of people kicking this girl in the street and beating her brains out and, you know, all that, and nobody standing around willing to stick their arm in to pull her up out of it. And so that's what I was trying to do. And, you know, I got pretty much kicked in the teeth for it, you know, and I expected that to happen, but it's still, when you feel like you're doing the right thing and you try to do the right thing, sometimes you still get bit in the butt, and that's okay by me, you know. I've been blocked and unfriended and whatever you want to call it, blah, blah, blah. I could care less, you know. I honestly don't want those kinds of people in my life anyway. If you can't be decent to another human being, even if they don't feel the same way or believe the same way that you do, then I don't have time for your shenanigans. And if you can't be a kind human being, then I really don't have a need or desire to be friends with you. So that's pretty much it in a nutshell. And it was hurtful because we've been friends for years. And I knew how she felt about things. I knew she's always been the kind of person to really stand up for things that she believes in, which is all fine and dandy. I love that about her. But what I don't like is condoning that kind of behavior towards another human being. So, but anyway, so that's part of my let's not be ugly to people rant. I don't even know if you'd call that a rant. I really felt bad about it the last 2 days, and I shouldn't. Someone had private messaged me and was like, you know what? Those that mind don't matter, and those that matter don't mind. And that's the truth. And so, like I said, I've always been the kind of person that just kind of don't say things because I like to keep the peace, and I don't like to be in the middle of dramatic things. But it was hard for me to stand by and not come to her defense. Even, like I said, even if I don't agree with what her views. Still, you know, my mom and dad were both very political people when I was growing up. They were very political people, and I didn't always agree or see eye to eye with things that they thought, but that doesn't matter to me. That don't matter to me. I would lay down my life for either my mom or my dad. You know, so there comes a point where you have to be able to put aside your beliefs and still be a decent human being, I guess. I don't know. I guess it's just a big gray subject. And I don't, like I said, want this to be a political thing. It's more, I just want it to be more of a, can we just be decent human beings? Even if you don't think that the person that you're not agreeing with is being a decent human being because they believe the way they do, does that entitle you or me or anyone to treat them as anything other than a human being? You see what I'm saying? And I'm not talking about somebody, I mean, if you know, are out there being a, like, I don't even know what to, I mean, like, if you're doing something wrong, like hate crimes or being mean to innocent people or babies or any kind of violent whatever, then yeah, you know, I mean, I believe there's some people out there that needs to be whatever, I guess in jail. But anyway, I'm just trying to say that there are ugly people out there, I guess, with ugly hearts, and I don't want to associate with that. And so that would be that. Had a few people pep talk me afterwards, after all that happened, and made me realize that, you know, it's sometimes you just can't reason with some people. And I felt good about myself that I was able to take a stand for somebody, knowing that I was going to be, you know, ripped to shreds. But I just did what I felt like I needed to do. So that's all there was to that. I'm going to move on from that subject because I could sit and talk circles all day. I have gone through every emotion about that whole situation and ordeal. One minute I'm sad and crying. The next minute I'm mad and angry. And the next minute I'm sad and crying and having more pity parties for myself. And so I'm just, have decided, well, here, I'm going to find, here's something I thought about. I'm going to find me, some sort of little, like, daily, what do you call those? Like, quotes, or what, like inspirational quotes or whatever. I'm going to find some of them and print them off or buy them on Amazon or whatever and have them. And I'm going to start, at least while I'm in this season of feeling the way I've been feeling over that whole situation, I'm going to, when I get on to do my videos, I'm going to read that inspirational quote, because I feel like if I'm feeling this way, that there are other people out there that are feeling the same way I do. And, you know, you're tired of all the ugly and the hate and the, you know, just division and all that. So, yeah, I think that everybody could handle hearing a good word every once in a while. So that's what I'm going to do. I don't have anything on hand right now, but I will find some on the internet, pull them up, print them off, and I will start reading a little bitty inspirational quote each video. Don't know how long that'll last, but at least long enough to kind of maybe hopefully get us through this funk. It's just, ugh. And you know, the crazy thing is I've been seeing stuff on Facebook for the last 2 days. A lot of people are feeling the same way, just completely, they feel beat down emotionally because there's such a division. And, you know, I just want people to be good to people. That's all I want. All right, next little, I actually wrote a handful of ideas of things to talk about because I knew that if I got on this subject, then I would just talk in circles around it, and I'm done talking about it. So, negativity out, positivity in. So, positive thing that happened to me, I actually hit my 100 subscriber milestone here on YouTube. Woo! Yay! I would like yell and clap a little bit louder, but my husband and children are in the bed, so, you know. But anyway, I'm so thankful for you guys that have subscribed and came to this channel and hung around, and the people that keep subscribing. I thank you for following along with me here and checking out my videos and commenting and that kind of thing. I just love it. I love the community. I love just having somebody to talk to, even though you're on the other side of the screen. I feel like I'm talking to friends, you know. I mean, it's like, I'd love to just be able to sit around the table and have coffee and talk, you know, or have a margarita and talk. So I'm still working on this one. I don't know that I'll drink any more than this one little, and they're teeny tiny little cans. They're only 8 ounces. They're little bitty. But anyway, the 100 subscribers, yeah, I think I'm actually at like 125 right now as of filming this video. But yeah, I'm going to find my next color to work on here. I think I'll work on this. I'll work on this 301. It's this brown color. Not super fun, but you know. Yeah, I was at 125, I think, earlier today when I looked, or before this evening. Sometime I checked, and it was like 125, and so I'm excited that I've actually hit the 100 milestone as quick as I did. So I do super duper appreciate everybody that has subscribed to the channel. And like I said, I love hanging out with you guys. I love whenever you leave comments and give me thumbs up and all that kind of stuff. I love it. It just makes me feel good. And I want you to keep your ears open. If you've made it this far in the video, then you guys need an award. I said that last time too, I think. Whenever, you know, I don't ever expect anybody to watch all the way through, especially the wipnchats, because they're so long. But I got a lot to say. You know, whenever I don't do one for a week, I'm kind of like, you know, Chatty Cathy over here. Can't get my mouth shut up. But, so, where was I going with that? About the 100 people, though. I'm going to, oh, yeah, I know what I was saying. If you've made it this far in the video, because this is a Christmas in July canvas that I'm working on, why don't you leave, if you've made it this far in the video, leave me a Christmas emoji. I don't know, make it a Christmas tree or, I don't know, something Christmassy. Snowman, snowflake, a present, a Christmas tree. I don't know what other Christmassy emojis there are, but, you know, leave me a Christmassy emoji in the comments. So, and thanks for hanging out this long. If you've been able to handle me talking for a billion years about a beautiful wedding and then getting all mouthy about ugly mean girls. But yeah, I'm planning on doing soon a giveaway, a 100 subscriber giveaway here on the YouTube. I still haven't made up my mind yet what I'm going to do or what I'm going to give away. But I do plan on having you guys fill out a Google form, only because I've heard of a few people who say that that's kind of a good idea because it's easier to verify that you're who you say you are. So if I did a giveaway and just randomly said your name, whoever the winner is, then any Tom, Joe, or Harry could pop on and say, oh, I'm so-and-so, I won your giveaway. And then I send them the prize and they're not even the person that won, you know. So stuff like that can happen. And I don't want that to happen. So I want to do just an easy Google form that I'm going to be linking in the description of the video. Not this video. It's not this video. But in an upcoming video. And I'm not going to say when because I haven't decided yet. So just keep your eyes open for that. I'm planning on doing it pretty soon. But, oh gosh, I got these everywhere now. But it'll be something simple, you just need your email address so that I can contact you, and your YouTube username. That way, you know, I can kind of verify who you actually are or who the winner actually is. So, but yeah, I think that would be the only requirement, maybe, other than my son. His bedroom is close by, and he has a Batman mask that is battery operated, and when you put it on, it talks. And I think he fell asleep with it in his bed, and he's rolled over on it, and it's making all kinds of weird, funky noises. But anyway, I'll probably have you just do the Google Doc thing to fill that out for verification. And then just for the fun of it, so I can be able to pick a winner, I would have you leave comments. Again, not on this video, not giving away anything on this video. It's going to be in an upcoming video. So just keep your eyes open for that. Next one I'm working on is 3855. Do a little bit of peachy peach. But I'm super excited about it. Super excited. And I want to be able to give back to you guys because you're giving me, you know, so much of your time and hanging out and watching and commenting and all that. So, yeah, I want to be able to do something awesome for you guys in return. That is the equal sign symbol. There's a broken drill right there. But yeah, like I said, I'm not sure what I'm going to give away just yet. I have a few ideas, but nothing set in stone just yet. So, let's see. Anything else that I did not mention while I was... let me see. Oh, one last thing I can talk about before I end the WIP and chat. And I hope that this wasn't like a Debbie Downer WIP and chat. I'm sorry if it was. Go to the next subject. So the next subject is, I got a letter in the mail from my son's school the other day. And he's like, in the letter, I hadn't opened it. My husband was like, are you going to open that letter? And I was like, oh, I figured it was just like, you know, register by this date, blah, blah, blah. Pay for your books, pay for the iPad, or what, you know, all that kind of stuff. So I kind of ignored the letter, and then I went ahead and opened it up, and then in the letter was basically giving, it was a big, like 4 or 5 pages long, and they were basically saying that you had the option. You can either send your child to school with these guidelines as far as COVID goes, like no fever, have to wear a mask on the school bus, and you have to wear a mask if you're in a situation where you can't social distance, like, so basically like if you're in a hallway with a bunch of kids, everybody's got to have a mask on. They did say that there would be lunch would not be in the cafeteria as normal. The cafeteria will be closed, but they will have lunches as normal, but in the classrooms. So I guess they'll have people bring lunches to each classroom. So you could either send your kids to school under those conditions, you know, or you can do the e-learning, and they had like a couple different registration dates, one for if you're actually going to send your child to school, and then a different registration date if you're going to do the e-learning. So the thing is with my son, he's in public school, but he's autistic, and so he's in the special needs classroom. And our school is little because we live in a little bitty town, you know. And so there's literally like 5 kids in his classroom anyway. And, you know, but I had questions, and I've talked to his teacher, and she's waiting to hear back some things because, you know, there are some things like in the guidelines they talked about. He's not going to wear a mask. I know him, and he's not going to wear a mask. And he also does not know how to social distance. He don't know how to not invade someone's personal space. So, you know, I'm like, if that's going to be an issue, then, but on the other hand, because he lacks social interaction anyway, especially since March because of the whole COVID thing and nobody's going anywhere. And I mean, the only place the youngin's been to really is outside and to go get a haircut and a milkshake or ice cream or, you know, that kind of thing. So, I kind of feel like him going would be good for him because I feel like the long break that he's had has just not been healthy, you know, for him, because he's kind of fallen out of routine, you know. So there's just kind of like, I mean, there's good and bad about both situations. So I really don't know. And then as far as e-learning, he wouldn't probably do his work on a computer like the other kids would do. They would probably have like a homebound teacher that would literally come 2 or 3 days a week, do work with him and go home and then leave, you know. So, you know, we're just going to have to play it by ear. And luckily, thankful that our school is a small school because, like I said, we do live in a very small community. And they're very forgiving, especially with the special needs classrooms, because they're small and they understand that, you know, for instance, if Eli is struggling with allergies and he's got a really bad runny nose and a cough, and I mean beforehand, I don't mean now that COVID's a thing, just in general for the last few years, you know, if he's struggling with a cough and a runny nose, that is enough to make him have like the worst day ever, especially if he has to do work and be in a routine and all that kind of thing. So the school and the, you know, the administration office understands that, and they understand that just because he has a runny nose and a cough with no fever doesn't really warrant a doctor's note. So they don't necessarily follow the same like absentee, I guess you could say, the same kind of absentee code as they do with traditional regular classrooms and regular students. I hate to say regular, especially because I'm a special needs mom, but you know what I'm saying. Typical classroom, typical children. But yeah, so that's kind of where we're at. We're just kind of like, it's a waiting game. I've talked to his teacher and I'm like, I've still got a lot of, you know, questions before I decide one way or the other. So, you know, I mean, I kind of really want to send him because I feel like it would be better for him just to get back into a routine and him not lollygag on the iPad or in front of the TV all day, just eating junk and doing what he wants, you know. I mean, don't get me wrong, I make him do things around here that he's supposed to do, and he still has sort of a routine, but it's not the same, you know, especially when there's no really social interaction outside of his mom, dad, and sister and 2 dogs. So, yeah. So we're going to figure that out, play that by ear, see kind of what we decide to do, and go from there. So, have they done anything where you're at, where your kids go to school? Are they going to make them go? Are they going to make them e-learn? Are they giving you the choice, the option? Oh, and our school starts back like the very 1st of August. So, like that, usually it falls on like the 1st, 2nd, 3rd of August. And for whatever reason, they usually go back like on a Thursday or Friday. And then they have the weekend, and then they start fresh again on Monday. I'm like, why do they do that? Like, and I heard it was because they like give them that day or two just to kind of, that Thursday or Friday, just to kind of get used to their new, you know, routine, find their classrooms, blah, 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 blah. Then Monday, they get to start fresh. I'm like, whatever. It's them starting on Thursday or Friday. Just let them have that rest of the weekend and then send them back on Monday. But whatever. They do what they want to do. Alright, guys. I have rambled enough. And again, I apologize for my boo-hooey sad part. I don't want, I didn't, you know, I don't know. I just want people to be good to each other. So, that's that in a nutshell. And, I think that's all. Here's a couple more. But yeah, I would appreciate it if you would give it a thumbs up. And if you're new here and you would like to subscribe, we'd love to have you on the channel here. And make sure if you do subscribe that you hit the notification bell, ding, 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 to get notified the next time I upload another video. So, hope you guys have a fantastic rest of the week. And into the weekend. Hope your weather is fair and not hot enough to just catch you on fire wherever you're sitting, because it's hot, hot, hot. It's hotter than blue blazes. Like right now, even outside with the wind blowing, step your foot out the door and it's like a heat wave. So, oh, and good grief, I forgot to even say this. My air conditioning quit. Guys, last week, 2 days in a row, I did not have air conditioning. And I thought that I was going to melt. The baby was running around naked. I only had a diaper on her. The boy was running around in just bare, you know, underwear and no clothes. I was wearing pajama shorts and a t-shirt. My husband was working all day, so he got to enjoy, you know, not being in a hot, humid house. But he did have a window unit that was upstairs in the room upstairs. So he brought that down and put it in the living room, and that's kind of where we stayed, was in that living room for a couple of days. And I slept in there and everything because it was just much cooler in there than it was in the rest of the house. But they got it fixed. Something to do with 2 little hoses rubbing together when it would come on, I guess, and vibrate, and it would rub together and made a hole in one spot, and all the like Freon or whatever leaked out. So they had to repair that and then fill it back up with the Freon, and now we have nice cold air conditioning. So yeah, thank God for that, or else I would have already hauled my hind end over to the Holiday Inn Express, tell you that for sure. All right, guys, thanks for joining me. Sorry if it was too sad and whatever. I just had to speak my heart for one night. I don't hardly ever do that. So, but anyway, thanks for joining me. Make sure to hit the thumbs up. Subscribe if you're new. Hit the thumbs up and the little notification bell, ding, 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 to get notified next time I upload another video. I've already said that, but I'm saying it again. And I will talk to you guys tomorrow. Have a great night. Bye.